Kenny, I'm not happy. I want a divorce. Kenny felt a pang of shock, though he had sensed something brewing. Amelia, his wife of nearly 2 decades, had been confiding in her friend Jenny, who claimed expertise in marriages despite having gone through 3 divorces herself. Kenny, are you listening? I said I want a divorce. Yes, Amelia, I heard you. But this is a serious matter, and I don't want to rush into a response. I tried to be a loving and faithful husband and a good father. If there's an issue, you haven't brought it up before, and our intimacy seemed fine. So I'm at a loss. However, I can't bear the thought of holding you back from happiness. Though it hurts, I'll support your decision. Could you tell me if this has been a recent feeling or if it's been building up? Amelia replied, It's been building. I need space, time to explore other things, maybe see other people. Legally, we'd have to be separated for 90 days after signing the papers. By the end, I might change my mind about the divorce. We might not have to go through with it. Her husband mused, That's similar to what I've heard from others going through divorces. During the 90-day separation, we're both free to see other people without it being seen as cheating. But at the end, we both have to agree to stop the divorce. However, either of us can continue with it without the other's consent. Kenny realized Amelia might not have fully considered that he'd have the same freedom she desired. I thought if I filed first, it was my decision whether to continue or proceed with the divorce. Amelia's certainty wavered. Kenny replied, I don't think it works like that, but just to be clear, I'll file too, so we're on equal footing. Isn't that fair? Amelia hesitated. I suppose. Are you saying you want a divorce? Apparently, I've misunderstood. I thought I was fulfilling my roles as a husband, father, and partner. No, I don't want a divorce, but I won't stand in your way. Honey, I never said you were failing. You've been wonderful in all those roles. I just want to try new things, spend time with other people. It might help me feel better about myself. I just need some space. Being legally separated would give me that freedom. Amelia, you're needing more than what I can provide is essentially me being inadequate. He let the weight of that statement linger before adding, Have you already consulted a lawyer and had the papers drawn up? Ignoring his remark about feeling inadequate, she replied, No, I haven't gotten the papers yet. I'll be using Jar Lewis. He handled Jenny's divorces. There it was. Amelia confirmed the source of this latest push for more from their marriage. Well, I'll likely have my cousin, Karen, handle my side of the divorce. Karen, the one you call the witch from hell? Now, Amelia, I know you're not fond of Karen, but she's actually a decent person. Her reputation as a witch comes from her tough courtroom demeanor. She's a fierce advocate for her clients, regardless of gender. Ironically, after the last family barbecue, probably due to a bit too much to drink, Karen volunteered to handle my divorce for free if I ever needed it. Kenny continued, Well, we have a lot to discuss. I suggest we take the next 2 weeks to prepare for the separation/divorce, so we can start the separation on the 1st of the month. Does that work for you? I suppose. I don't see why we have to do anything before the separation starts. Kenny explained, The purpose of the separation is to simulate what life would be like after a divorce, to see if we really want to go through with it. So, the separation period is like a trial run of post-divorce life. Otherwise, we might end up realizing after the divorce that it's not what we wanted, and that could get messy. Does that make sense to you? I suppose. I hadn't thought of it like that. Amelia's resolve softened. I have an idea. Let's go to the kitchen, grab a legal pad, and start planning what we need to do. I'll make some coffee. With that, Kenny got out of bed and headed to the kitchen, leaving Amelia lost in thought. By the time Amelia joined him in the kitchen, the coffee was brewing, and Kenny was jotting down notes on the legal pad. All right, Kenny continued, there's a lot to consider. I guess we should start with the kids. What do you mean? We'll have to explain to them what's happening, and we need to make sure we both say the same thing. And most importantly, we need to assure them that our divorce isn't their fault. Amelia grew worried. Their daughters were sensitive and might not handle the news well. I don't think we need to tell them that much. Can't we just wait the 90 days and maybe we won't have to say anything at all? But dear, how will you explain it to them when they ask, why doesn't Daddy live here anymore? But why wouldn't you be living here? We'll still be their parents. I thought you'd continue living here during the separation, and we could, both of us could go out sometimes without disrupting the kids' lives. I don't think that would work, Amelia. First, we'd have to coordinate our dating schedules. One of us might get upset if the other wanted to go on a date one night and the other said it wasn't convenient. We might think the other was trying to hinder us from dating. Most importantly, how will you experience what it would be like if we were to divorce, if I'm still doing all the things you would have to do if we did divorce? Besides, the kids might figure out or hear from others that we've been seen going out with other people. We not only need to tell the girls, but all our relatives and friends need to be informed. Otherwise, they might think we're cheating on each other. The most concerning aspect is that, regardless of how we explain it to them, they might still feel they're to blame. It's unfortunate, but from what I understand of child psychology, it's difficult to prevent children of divorce from feeling partially responsible. Our priority should be to consistently reassure them of our love. They're good kids, and they'll likely adjust over time, though it might require some professional therapy. Plus, they might even enjoy having additional grandparents from your new partner and mine, which could mean more gifts on special occasions. But coordinating birthdays, holidays, and other events will become even more crucial than it is now, with just one set of grandparents each. Also, if I stay in the house, you'll have to meet your partner elsewhere, not at home or in an expensive motel. It wouldn't be fair to either of us or to the kids to have a new partner at home while the other is there, and we need to figure out how having two households will affect our finances. Obviously, it means less money for us, since we'll have to cover rent and utilities for my apartment on top of our current expenses. You'll have to start handling the costs and responsibilities we currently share on your own, or I'll have to manage them for the family alone. Joint assets are typically split equally. That means canceling joint accounts, credit cards, and then there's alimony and child support. It's overwhelming. There's so much to sort out before the end of the month. Amelia sat in stunned silence, unsure of what to say. Kenny continued, I'll try to find an apartment close to work, with 2 bedrooms so the girls have a place to sleep when they stay over on my visitation nights. Visitation. In most divorces, visitation means the non-custodial parent gets to see the kids every other weekend and alternate holidays, unless the custodial parent agrees to more. Kenny, I would expect you to spend more time with the girls. They have homework, sports, drama, and other events where they're used to having you around. Plus, you all seem to enjoy your time together so much. Sweetheart, I'll do my best to remain a big part of their lives. However, you or your boyfriend/husband will need to pick up some of the things I've been doing. That's just the reality. Weeknights for visits will be tough because they should be home for school the next day. If I find someone else, she might have kids too, and I might need to help with their homework and activities. You might have to help your new husband with his kids. Then there's the issue of managing clothes and toiletries in 2 places, arranging transportation since I might not live on their school bus route, and just the disruption of routines. It won't be easy for any of us. This isn't going the way Jenny said it would, Amelia thought to herself. She said her husband would fold at the mention of divorce and offer to continue everything he did for the family, but also let her date others on the side. I'm losing control of this situation fast. Kenny, I'm feeling overwhelmed. I need to sleep on all of this. Let's talk more tomorrow. I'm going back to bed. Are you coming? She hoped he would join her, hoping sleep would persuade him to give in without all this talk of responsibilities and dividing money. Sweetheart, I need to jot down some more ideas about what needs to be done before bed. You know how my mind works. The more we settle before the first of the month, the better we'll both feel. Good night, dear. Amelia didn't sleep much. She had to talk to Jenny about Kenny's unexpected reaction. Jenny would know what to do next. That assurance finally allowed her to drift off. She woke up and immediately noticed Kenny wasn't in bed, nor did it look like he had slept there. Good grief. That fool stayed up all night working on that separation list. But when she entered the kitchen, Kenny wasn't there, just the pad on the table. She found him sound asleep in the guest bedroom. Returning to the kitchen, she started breakfast. While cooking, she glanced at the pad. Under things to change responsibility to Amelia were mortgage, homeowner's insurance, utilities, cable, cell phone, garbage, internet security, car payment, car insurance, health insurance, dental insurance, Amazon Prime, LifeLock membership, Life Flight medical evacuation, and the list went on. That was on top of all the banking changes they had discussed the night before. On the next page, there was a breakdown of his new expenses related to his apartment and a projected budget showing how much alimony and child support she would need to maintain their current lifestyle for her and the girls. It showed they would be several $100s short per month. He also listed ways to cut expenses, like cutting out his beloved trips to Waffle House and Starbucks. That will really hurt him, she chuckled. Then he added her gym membership, the women's groups she belonged to, and eating out more than once a week. He even listed some of the kids' expenses, like fees for extracurricular activities, uniforms, and other required materials. The effect on the children wasn't part of her divorce plan. On another page, he listed chores that Amelia would have to do with him gone or hire someone else to do, like putting gas in the car, scheduling car maintenance, calling the plumber, heating and air conditioning repair service, lawn mowing, car washing, grocery shopping, and more. She had to put the pad down. Why isn't Kenny acting like he's supposed to and giving me what I want? I need to call Jenny before Kenny gets up. Hello. Jenny, it's Amelia. We have to speak quietly because Kenny is asleep nearby. How did it go last night? Jenny's voice expressed excitement and expectation of a positive response from Amelia. Instead of asking what he could do to make things better, so I wouldn't divorce him, he agreed to the separation, and then he started making a list of all the things he does now that I would have to do if we were divorced. Kenny's planning to get an apartment and only taking care of the girls every other weekend. He says we need to actually separate and act like we really are divorced so we can make a more informed decision on whether or not to divorce after the 90 days. He's not acting like divorce is really scary to him. What should I do? Amelia, silly girl. He's just trying to trick you. He's bluffing. There's no way he will sign any real papers. It's pathetic that he has to list all the little things he does to make you think you need him more than you do. Bottom line, you've got control of the kids and you've got control of the area between your legs. Those two things alone will keep him in line. It's all talk on his part, don't worry. Before long, you and Thomas will be doing the mamba in bed, and you will still have your husband and home. I hope you're right, and Thomas better be worth it. Well, Kenny hasn't really done anything yet. I'll stay strong at least until I see what he's really going to do, if anything. Thanks, Jenny. He's getting up. I have to go. Anxiously, Amelia asked, Hey, Kenny, would you like some coffee? Her husband staggered over to the coffee pot and replied, Having coffee that late last night was not a good idea. Barely got any sleep. Why didn't you come to bed with us? Well, I was on my way, but I didn't trust myself. Sweetheart, we're still married. I belong to you and you alone, at least until the separation. Can't we keep acting like husband and wife until then? I'm afraid not. I'm more convinced than ever that we need to start the separation process as soon as possible. Even though it won't officially start until the first of the month, it really began the moment you said, I'm unhappy. I want a divorce. It'll be tough for me, but I truly want to see you happy, even if I'm no longer a big part of your life. Kenny, you keep forgetting. It's just a separation, not a divorce. Relax. Give me some time to figure things out, and I bet we'll stay married and things will be even better than before. I wish I could believe that. I've decided to take the day off. Billy can supervise the repair crews for a day. That way, I can start setting things in motion for our separation. These changes won't take effect until the first of the month, so we'll have 90 days to really experience what divorce would be like. By the way, I'll withdraw more cash than usual for both of us. You'll need to use cash until we can get your own credit and debit/ATM cards. Luckily, we both have separate checking accounts in addition to the joint account. I'll transfer half of the joint account balance to each of our separate accounts. We need to do that now so we can have the new cards and checks ready by the 1st of March. I'll let you know tonight what I've done and what you need to do to take control of your portion of the assets. Oops, you better hurry so you won't be late for work. I'll take care of breakfast and see the kids off to school. Amelia wasn't very productive at her job as office manager for the State Farm Insurance Regional Office. Thomas, as usual, came by to flirt. He was tall, with wavy hair and a smile that could make women melt. After telling Amelia how beautiful she looked and how unappreciated she must be, he asked when they could make beautiful music in the elevator again. What she really wanted to ask was when they might have some alone time to do more than they already had. Amelia began to feel excited again and told Thomas that it wouldn't be much longer before they could be together in a more comfortable setting. She promised to call him later about elevator time today. When he left, her worries about her separation from Kenny were replaced by memories of Thomas's kisses, fondling, and groping in the all too brief elevator rides they had shared over the past few months since he had started working there. When Amelia got home from work, she could see evidence that Kenny had been there during the day. She felt emotionally better prepared to deal with him regarding all the financial matters he had discussed. It seemed simple. She had 90 days to fool around, they would stay married, and then she would try to figure out how to have sleepovers with Thomas without getting caught. Sitting down at the kitchen table, she looked at the legal pad again. Kenny had added a few more items to the list. Then she noticed a new list titled Possible Women to Date. There were 2 columns. Women who have already expressed interest and women to see if they are interested. The columns weren't long, but the names in the first column shocked her. One was her own sister, Erica. That which Amelia immediately called her. Erica greeted, "Hey, Amelia. How's everything?" "How dare you try to steal my husband, Amelia? You tramp." "Whoa, hold on there. What on earth are you talking about?" "Kenny showed me a list of women interested in dating him, and your name was on it." "I don't know about any list, but one time, after a bit too much to drink, I jokingly said if he ever smartened up, I'd apply to be your replacement." "Wait, why would he show you a list like that? Is there trouble in paradise? Did you catch him, or did he catch you with someone else?" "No, it's not that. I just told him I needed some space, time to myself, to explore new relationships." Erica cut in. "Aha, so you're the one exploring outside the marriage. Who is he, or are there multiple people?" "No, I haven't been with anyone else, yet. Kenny and I are just separating for 90 days to decide if we want to stay married. It's not a big deal." "It sounds like you got someone in mind, but frankly, I don't care. So, you're saying soon you'll be legally separated, and if anyone wants Kenny, you won't do anything about it. Let me know the date, and I guarantee that 1 second past midnight, I'll be calling him, begging for a date, offering my body however he wants, and assuring him I'm not my sister, and I'll be loyal to him forever. You'd better stay away from him, or what, big sister? You're powerless with the legal separation in place, and the irony is, you're the one who initiated it. For years you've boasted about what a great provider, husband, and father he is, and now you want to throw it all away. How foolish can you be? Did you suddenly turn blonde? Like I said, let me know as soon as he's available." Amelia tried to calm down after the call, but looking at the list of women didn't help. There was Jenny, his secretary for 6 months, a single mother of 1, much younger than Kenny. She was first on the list, indicating her interest in dating her husband. Probably desperate for a sugar daddy, Amelia thought. 2 names were women from the neighborhood, one of them married. I guess that's what the M next to her name meant. The other 2 sounded like Kenny's coworkers. He had done a lot of handyman work for the neighbors, building up his business from his college days as a handyman. I guess he was looking at the women's plumbing as well as their house's plumbing. 3 women were simply noted as waitress at Waffle House, barista at Starbucks, and clerk at Walmart. I wonder how many other women find him attractive. I really didn't think he would date during a separation. Maybe he already has someone in mind. Kenny entered the house and saw his wife looking over the legal pad. He knew what the next topic of conversation would be. "Well, Kenny, It seems you haven't wasted much time finding a replacement for me. My own sister, how could you? I was just trying to catch up with you and your choice of companionship. What? What do you mean? I don't have a boyfriend. I just want to explore new relationships. Like with Thomas Bryant. How do you know about? What does Thomas Bryant have to do with this? I was at Walmart today and bumped into Sylvia, your boss's secretary, on her lunch break. She's a notorious gossip. Don't believe anything she says. After a pause, Amelia couldn't resist asking, out of curiosity, what did she say? Sylvia said, I hear you're good friends with one of our new associates, Thomas Bryant. I must have looked confused because she explained, since he visits your wife's office several times a day and you have lunch together every day. I asked Amelia what was going on. You know our president has a strict policy on intra-office fraternization. Anyway, she explained that Thomas was an old college buddy of yours and that you all hang out frequently. I acted like I remembered and said, oh yeah, Thomas. So that's why I think Thomas is at least one of the men you're interested in during the separation. How far have you two gone in your exploration? I was just trying to get that busybody out of my business. Thomas is just a friend. We haven't done much except talk, and I guess he might be someone I'd want to date. He's very kind to me and compliments my looks, even when I'm not at my best. Anything new? Have you two been up to anything you wouldn't want me to know about? Amelia's face betrayed her as she quickly recalled the elevator scenes. More importantly, have you two done anything his wife would object to? Wife? He's not married. Who told you he was married? What kind of woman do you think I am? Well, you don't seem very inquisitive about the men you're interested in. Let me pull up his Facebook page again. That's where I got the info. After a minute of searching, Kenny continued, is that Thomas Bryant? Yes, it is. What does it say about his marital status? It says he's married to Cynthia and has 2 boys. Amelia quickly offered, this could be outdated. He might be divorced by now. Take another look. It was updated 3 days ago. Don't you think he'd update something as important as whether he's married or not? And look at what his wife wrote recently. The boys and I can't wait to join Thomas when school's out. Johnny and Thomas Jr. have been important players on their high school baseball team and might make it to the state tournament. We'll be reuniting our family as soon as the school year is over, or maybe later if they make it to the state tournament. That jerk. I swear he didn't mention he was married. I wouldn't do anything to break up a marriage. You don't seem to have any qualms about ending your own marriage, came the blunt observation. Amelia felt the weight of her actions in the awkward silence that followed. She needed a moment to gather her thoughts. Thomas was the primary reason she desired separation, but she couldn't reveal that to Kenny. Well, he was just one of several men I might consider dating. I could make a list just like you did. Kenny interjected, oh, I just had another thought. If we end up wanting to reconcile after the divorce, we should exchange medical reports to ensure we're both clear of STDs. You're just being spiteful now. Just cautious. I hadn't really planned on dating anyone, since it might only be temporary, but if I feel the urge, I might seek out a professional. I'm sure you'd want to feel safe, just as I would. It's not just about you, it's about who you've been with and who they've been with, and so on. Kenny tried not to reveal how much he relished dismantling Amelia's scheme. While Amelia seethed, Kenny changed the subject. Okay, Amelia, I promise to update you on what I've done to facilitate the separation process. I accomplished a lot today, most of it set to start on March 1st. Sorting out the bank and credit card accounts is the priority, so you have easy access to your funds. We can handle the mortgage, utilities, etc. over the next week. Oh, and I have some good news financially. Did I mention that my secretary, Jenny, manages the apartments at Royal Arms at night? They're close to work, so I inquired about vacancies. They have a 2-bedroom apartment available, but I need to act fast. Normally, they'd be too pricey, but Jenny said if I took on the role of apartment maintenance, we get a 50% discount on rent. That means more money for you and the kids. Amelia interjected, you haven't signed a lease yet, have you? Remember, we have 90 days, and if you play your cards right, you might be able to move back here. She refrained from mentioning her thoughts about his secretary, knowing it wouldn't help. No, I haven't signed a lease yet. I had to explain why I was apartment hunting, though. She mentioned they usually don't rent month to month, but since it's just for 90 days, she thought she could make it work. And, when Jenny found out about the separation, she sort of hinted she'd like me to ask her out. It surprised me, given the age gap. I had no idea she found me attractive. I politely declined, explaining the workplace rules about employee-supervisor relationships. Jenny said she'd consider leaving her job if that was all it took, so that's why I added her to the list. Amelia's frustration was palpable, but she held her tongue, knowing her thoughts would only escalate the situation. Without waiting for Amelia's response, Kenny continued, "There's something else you might like. I've booked 2 tickets for a 10-day holiday in Hawaii. I was waiting to tell you because it was supposed to be a surprise for our 20th anniversary." Amelia's expression lit up with excitement. "Hawaii. Oh, Kenny, you know how much I've always wanted to go there. That's fantastic. I can't wait for us to lounge on the beaches and swim in the ocean. Thank you, thank you, thank you." However, Kenny's face remained stoic, not reflecting his wife's enthusiasm. "We are not going to Hawaii. When you told me you wanted a divorce, I had to assume we might not make it to our 20th anniversary. When I tried to cancel and get a refund, they said that at this late date, I could only get a 20% refund. After thinking about it, I realized that going to Hawaii was really more your dream. I thought you should still go, so I did get them to change the tickets to you and one person to be named later. It might be a very helpful start for your new relationship if you could offer your new man an all-expenses-paid trip to Hawaii. But, Kenny, you're the one I wanted to go to Hawaii with. We could postpone the separation thing. In fact, I'm thinking of canceling the whole thing. I'm not that unhappy with my life now that I've had a chance to think about it." "I'm sorry, Amelia. I've given this a lot of thought. I don't think I could enjoy myself knowing we would be coming back to possible divorce proceedings. Even if you canceled the divorce, you can't cancel your having said you want a divorce, nor can you cancel my imagination about what you and Thomas did when you didn't do anything much. I'm afraid I believe you have already committed adultery, even though you may not have actually had intercourse. I probably will go on with the divorce no matter what you decide, even though I cannot imagine my life without you and being only half a dad to my girls." Kenny then went upstairs to the guest bedroom. Amelia was crushed. She felt like she had nowhere else to turn but to Jenny. She dialed her number. "Hey, Amelia, what's going on?" "Jenny, everything's fallen apart. Kenny found an apartment, and his flirtatious secretary is making moves on him, and now my sister wants him too. And to top it off, he gave me the tickets to Hawaii for our anniversary, but won't go with me. He said I could take my new boyfriend instead. What am I supposed to do?" "Whoa, slow down. What's the real issue here? You and Thomas could still have a fantastic time soaking up the sun and enjoying each other's company." "No, I found out Thomas is married. His wife and kids are moving here soon. I can't go to Hawaii with him. I want to go with Kenny." "Wait a second. I think I've figured this out," Jenny interjected. "Kenny's playing a slick game. He's lying about booking that trip beforehand. It's a ploy to make you feel guilty and drop the divorce. Call his bluff and he'll cave. Don't worry, with your looks, you'll find someone better than Thomas in no time and still have Kenny and your family." "Oh my goodness. I never thought he could be so deceitful. That jerk. I'm going to make him regret this. Thanks, Jenny. I was about to give in. He's going to pay for this. Talk to you later." When Kenny came back downstairs, he had a small suitcase with him. Amelia remarked, "So you're trying to make it look like you're already moving out? Don't worry, and good riddance." "Actually, I was just going to take a few things over to the apartment, so I wouldn't move out too much at once and startle the girls. Jenny said I could start moving a few things in before the 1st since the apartment was empty anyway. Your mood seems different since we last talked. Let me guess, you've been chatting with your marriage expert, Jenny. If you want to keep our marriage going, you should consult a marriage expert. Jenny's more of a divorce expert. That's all she's been successful at. Don't try to take shots at Jenny. She's on my side. She was the one who saw through your scheme about the Hawaii tickets. You made up that story just to make me drop everything. It won't work. I still want the divorce, and I can't wait for the separation. There are plenty of guys out there who want me and will give me what I need. You're right about one thing, at least. There will be plenty of guys interested in you. I've always felt like the luckiest man alive to have such a beautiful partner, a great co-parent, and, until recently, a loyal wife and lover. What you're wrong about is the Hawaii trip, and I can prove it. Call Lois Perez at Flight Right Travel Agency. She's the one who arranged the trip. Here, I'll call. Flight Right Travel, Lois speaking. We've got some great last-minute deals you don't want to miss. How can I help you? Lois, it's Kenny Hughes again. My wife is on speakerphone with me. It's okay now to tell her about the trip. She had some questions. Sorry, Kenny, it's disappointing you won't be able to go. You were really looking forward to surprising your wife and enjoying the getaway. Mrs. Hughes, what questions do you have? What exactly does this trip include? Amelia snapped. It's our 10-day, 2-island trip, our most popular package. It covers hotel, meals, transportation, hula lessons, luau, tiki dancers, surfing, swimming, and dancing, all in a romantic setting. I've been with my husband a couple of times, and it's really spiced up our marriage. And when did my husband book this trip? Amelia was certain this would expose the ruse. Let's see, according to my notes, he first called about 3 months ago, chose this trip 2 months ago, and paid for it 2 weeks after. Yesterday he called to cancel and get a refund. I could only give 20% back. I was surprised he said to go ahead and you would find someone else to go with you. That tells me what kind of husband he is. You're one lucky lady. What other questions do you have? You need to tell me the name of the other person as soon as possible. I can't reserve the plane tickets until I have the person's name. No other questions. I'll call with the name soon. Amelia tried to think what Jenny might say based on this information. Within seconds she knew, you think you fooled me again, don't you? You've worked a deal with that Lois woman to pretend you had planned the Hawaii trip before I said anything about divorce. Well, I'm smarter than that. She was proud of herself for figuring it out without Jenny's help. Kenny let out a heavy sigh and suggested, "What about your parents?" "What do my parents have to do with this?" "Who do you think was going to take care of the girls while we were away? Come on, let's give them a call." Amelia was taken aback. "No, you don't have to do that. I need some time to think." "Sorry, Amelia already dialed." "But Kenny." The call was picked up by her mother, who saw the caller ID. "Amelia, how are the girls? Good to hear from you." "Hi, Mom," Amelia replied uncertainly. "Hi, Mom, it's Kenny. We're on speakerphone together." "Just a moment. Let me get your father, too." In the background, Amelia and Kenny could hear, "Jerry, it's Kenny and Amelia. Come to the phone, dear." "Hey guys, what's going on?" Jerry joined the conversation. After Amelia remained silent, Kenny spoke up. "This is about the Hawaii trip. Amelia knows now, so you don't have to keep it a secret." "Son, we're really sorry to hear you can't go on the trip. You didn't give us much detail when you called this morning. I hope everything's okay. When you called to say you wouldn't need us to babysit during the Hawaii trip because you weren't going, it was disappointing. We were looking forward to having the girls with us for 10 days, and we felt sad for Amelia that you couldn't go with her. We know how much she wanted this trip. Have you decided who to take yet, Amelia?" "One of the girls? It would be hard on whichever one was left behind." "No, Mom, I haven't decided yet. How long ago did Kenny talk to you about the Hawaii trip?" "I'm not sure. Jerry, do you remember?" "It was at New Year's, wasn't it? 2 to 3 months ago. He wanted to give us plenty of notice so we could stock up on junk food. Those two can really eat and never seem to gain an ounce." Amelia's mother interrupted. "Kenny, is something wrong? Why are you asking when Kenny talked to us? Is there a problem between you two? Oh God, are you breaking up?" Amelia responded, "No, Mom, well, not exactly. We decided we needed some space, some time away from each other for a while, to recharge the marriage battery, and then probably get back together." Kenny interjected, "Amelia, I can't lie to your parents. They've always been honest and straight with me. Mom, Jerry, last Sunday night, Amelia told me she wanted a divorce." Gasps could be heard on the other end of the line. Amelia tried to explain, "That's not what I meant to say, Dad. The first step in divorce procedures is a 90-day separation. I wanted that time to focus on myself, explore new opportunities, and improve myself so I could be a better wife and mother afterwards." "Bullshit," Jerry exclaimed. "I know hippie, liberal bullshit when I hear it. Amelia, do you have a boyfriend on the side?" "No, Dad. No, not really." Kenny wanted to say something but decided against it. Jerry continued as sobs from his wife could be heard in the background. "Well, it sure sounds like it to me. I can't believe you would do something like that. We raised you better. I'm so disappointed. Don't expect us to be polite here, new man, Amelia. We're sorry, Kenny. At least will you promise that you'll still let us see our grandchildren after the divorce?" Amelia, now sobbing as well, jumped in before Kenny could answer. "There's not going to be a divorce. Kenny has blown this all out of proportion. I take it back. No divorce. No separation. I'll talk to you later when things calm down." Kenny looked at Amelia as she cried. Finally, he spoke. "You need to get yourself together. The girls will be home soon." Then he headed to the door with his suitcase. "Where are you going? Didn't you hear me? I don't want a divorce. You don't have to go anywhere." "Amelia, you decided on your own that you wanted a divorce without discussing it with me first. Now you think you can just decide we're not getting divorced because things aren't going as you hoped. You didn't seem to realize that I have a say in this too. After what I've learned about you in the last week, I'm not so sure that divorce isn't a good idea. I'll be grabbing a sleeping bag from the garage and staying at the apartment tonight." "Kenny, please stay. I'm sorry. You said everything was fine before I brought up the idea of divorce. Can't we just forget it and go back to how things were? You said you were happy." "I was happy, really happy. But I can't forget that you said you were unhappy and that you had your separation fling with Thomas all planned out. As far as I'm concerned, you've already committed adultery. Karen told me it would be easy for her to draw up the divorce papers since it's the standard procedure. She'll probably have them ready by tomorrow." Amelia stood her ground. "I refuse to sign those papers." "It won't matter. All she needs to do is ensure you're officially served. She might even do it at your workplace for more witnesses. Maybe she'll even serve Thomas with alienation of affection. I could go as far as serving your boss with violation of company policies, but that would mean both of you losing your jobs. I need you to be able to take care of the girls after the divorce. Maybe I'll just talk to Thomas's wife. That should be enough payback for him." "Why are you being so harsh? I love you, and you love me. Is there anything I can do to make it right? You said divorce would be tough on both of us. Don't you want to avoid that pain? I promise never to mention this mess again. Please, let's stay and figure this out." Tears streamed down Amelia's face. Kenny remained silent and still. Amelia felt she might have gotten through to him. "I vow to be the best wife ever. I won't even glance at another man. I've given you nearly 20 years of a solid marriage, 2 amazing kids, supported your business through thick and thin, even when it meant dealing with your late nights and dirty work. I've been so proud of your success. Everyone slips up. Please, give me another chance. Please." Finally, Kenny spoke up. "All right, here's what I'll do. I'll take my suitcase and sleeping bag over to the apartment. But before I go, I need you to do a few things. Your words and actions have hurt me more than you realize. If your responses meet my expectations, I'll consider canceling or at least postponing the divorce. I'll be back at 7 o'clock. You might want to send the kids to your parents' or a friend's house so we can talk freely." "Okay, I'll do whatever you ask. What do you need me to write?" "First, I want you to apologize for causing this mess, and I want you to beg, not just ask, but beg for my forgiveness. Second, I want you to tell Thomas to stop contacting you. Tell him you'll inform his wife if he persists. Let him know I might file a lawsuit against him and your company if he doesn't comply. Third, I want you to list all the reasons you can think of why I should consider staying married to you. And finally, I want you to call Jenny and tell her that you never want to speak to her again. This is not up for negotiation. If I ever hear the words, 'Jenny says I should' again, I'm out of here. Do you understand what I'm asking you to do if you want us to have a chance to stay married?" Yes, dear, I understand. I'll have everything ready for you at 7 o'clock, Amelia assured him. Good, I'll see you at 7 o'clock. Kenny picked up his suitcase and left. Amelia decided to tackle the list starting from the end. She rehearsed what she would say to Jenny. Listening to you was the worst decision I ever made. You nearly cost me everything I hold dear. Don't ever call, text, email, or even think about me again. If you see me in a store or restaurant, leave, or I might not be responsible for my actions. Surprisingly, telling Jenny off made her feel good. Then she called Thomas and delivered Kenny's message. She remained unfazed as Thomas transitioned from begging to insults, shutting him up by mentioning her husband might call his wife if he caused any more trouble. The hardest item on the list turned out to be the easiest, the reasons Kenny should want to stay married to her. Once she let go of her desires beyond what she had with Kenny, she found it easy to recall the things that made her happy about their life together. Amelia compiled an impressive list. This should impress Kenny, she thought. She had no trouble crafting a sincere plea for his forgiveness for the divorce scheme. How stupid, selfish, and arrogant I was. Never again. By 7 o'clock, Amelia was ready and feeling confident. She grew increasingly concerned as 7 o'clock came and went without Kenny's arrival. When he finally returned, 5 minutes late and without his luggage, her worry heightened. Kenny's face remained serious, just as it had been when he left that afternoon. Amelia tried to maintain a pleasant and humble demeanor. Here are my responses. I hope they meet with your approval, she said. Kenny studied the list intently. Tears welled up in his eyes as he read through it. Seeing him on the verge of tears, Amelia couldn't help but cry herself, interpreting his emotional reaction as a positive sign. Finally, Kenny spoke. This is very impressive, Amelia. Hope fluttered in her heart, and she started to rise to hug him, but he waved her back to her seat. He continued, What you have here is good, but I still don't feel like you understand how deeply you've hurt me. I'm afraid I have to proceed with the divorce. Amelia was devastated. It felt like a 20-pound weight had been dropped on her heart. Collapsing to the floor, she sobbed uncontrollably. Her sorrow reached depths she had never known before. In her anguish, she whispered, I've ruined my family's life. I'm the worst person on earth. I don't deserve to live. How could I have been so foolish? Kenny knelt beside her and whispered, Now you might understand how I felt. As Amelia continued to sob on the floor, he headed towards the door. Pausing, he looked back at her. Am I correct in assuming that we're free to date other people during the separation? His wife struggled to regain her composure enough to respond. Yes, but her tears interrupted her, making it difficult to continue. Thank you for watching this video to the end. If you liked it, please like it and subscribe to the channel. See you soon.